May 30, 2024. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looked like today. At 5:30 Pacific Standard, which is about right here, we see this big green spike. This is where the preliminary GDP numbers and the unemployment claims came out. And then right here at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard, right about here, not too much happened, but this is where the pending home sales month over month numbers came out. Overall price action stayed within this large range. Actually, large is a relative term. This is about a 20-point range. 20-point range, but it really didn't use and span the range, trading range too many times. So there's a lot of tight trading. There's a few legs that I found. Not too many setups that I found. I found one trade, it took it, and it was profitable. And then probably three other setups that were, I think, three other possible trades. There were a few others that I didn't mark, but I didn't like them for one reason or another. Either the signal bar wasn't correct, or the signal bar itself, or the setup was just kind of opposite to what it should be. In other words, it's a good setup for a short, but it's on the wrong side of the price action. Maybe it's like a bearish setup on a very bullish momentum going up, or reverse. So I'm going to go into the trades right now. So in the pre-market, you have this continuation sell-off from yesterday. Saw like this kind of one leg consolidation in the second leg. There's a small bounce. It moves up on this orange channel, hits a consolidation trading range here. Then it kind of moves up. And let's just kind of move it all the way over here. So here it looks like it's in a trading range of its own. So I just kind of mark it. Looks like it's in a consolidation area right here. So on the open, it stays pretty much in this range. I don't see any particular setup. It breaks out and starts moving up. So here, it kind of goes up and meets the pre-market high and respects it, and it comes right back down. So at this point, I'm thinking we're going to be in a trading range because I just need prices, well, I'm expecting prices probably to come up here and come back and test the lows. You do have a first entry long here. You technically have a second entry long. It's a bad signal bar. It's really no clean setup. It is a break of this yellow channel, but it isn't a clean break. I mean, it did close kind of inside, outside, depending on how you drew the trend channel. You could make an argument that it's closed outside, maybe it broke and made a new low, but it's a little ambiguous. So I'm going to wait for a better setup. You have first entry short. Technically, you have a second entry short and a second entry short failure here, but I just don't like this particular setup. It's a break of this yellow down channel. Whether you think it made a new low or not, it made one attempt down, and you could say there's a second attempt down, and the second attempt down has failed. But this, I'm just waiting for something a little bit cleaner, a little bit better, because it did look like it's on its way to make a measured move, and you don't know it's a failure on the second entry short until this candle finishes. Plus, when you're seeing this candle and you think a second entry short, you don't really have a good signal bar. So if you're waiting for a second entry short, this one negates it. But then I wouldn't necessarily think of going long because it is hitting kind of a matching high here. It looked like if you took it, you just probably barely get your scalp. Price action then continues moving down. Okay, so I do see this. I see this as a localized new high. It's a first entry long pullback, second entry long. Now I drew this as a potential support, and I saw a potential triple test right here. So the next candle is going to determine if you have a triple test and you truly do have a second entry long. It's a little early to have a confirmed trading range yet. You do have some kind of support being respected here. So whether you play range rules or trend channel rules looking for second entries, it's you can go either way. But I thought there might have been a possible trade here. I also saw this in a bigger context as one leg down, two legs up, then two legs down. So is it in this kind of a sub trading range here? Because you could actually link this consolidation area with this one, and maybe from this where my cursor is upwards to the pre-market high is a trading range. So you can make the argument that depending on what the next candle does, because EMA is flat, so you don't really have that to help you as a supportive indicator. So I'm waiting to see if this next candle ticks up. It ticks up and it opens here, flashes down and comes up. This would have been a possible trade if you're fast enough, but I wasn't. So now I was also just waiting to see what would happen. But potentially if you jumped, pretty much you trusted the setup and you trusted the triple test, you would have gotten a quick scalp. I was also looking for a higher low. You technically get a higher low here, but then it doesn't prove to be a higher low. It flashes down. Just gets congested here. Trades in this blue range. You have a new high, first entry long, second entry long, or you can see it as a big visual, first entry long pullback, second entry long. I don't like the signal bar is inside bar to this. And the way I had it at the moment was this is my low of the trading range. I wanted ideally this to bounce off this low here. Then I would have considered having a trade ready. But since it failed to break down below, it also closes the inside bar. I don't know if there's going to be another push down to the support. Prices move up, breaks out of the trading range. You could say there's a potential fail breakout, potentially a new localized low. First entry short, second entry short, but you see this signal bar, you're not even thinking short. When you see this, maybe you're thinking short, but I wasn't. I thought there was maybe a potential support here. So to go short, it might actually bounce back up, but it breaks through and continues down. So I'm watching this fail breakout, make a matching fail breakout here. No clean setup, goes down on this orange down channel, breaks out of the orange down channel, makes a new low, bounces again. So I see this new low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short. This is actually where I take my one and only trade. So I see this big orange down channel coming down. I see that there's clearly a break, and I believe this is the correct channel. So it's a break, tests the new low, makes a second attempt down. So I'm thinking maybe the downtrend has played out. There's a potential that even though this is the bottom of the trading range, because at one time I was thinking is maybe here, it could also be down here. Nevertheless, I do see this first entry short, second entry short. The second entry short hasn't failed yet, but I'm thinking bullish momentum up. When I see this next candle open here, makes you think it's going to continue downwards as a short, then reverses strongly back up and closes, engulfing this previous two candles, very strongish move up. I thought there's a trade here, so I wanted to jump on this trade because I'm thinking it's going to make one move up, which is I had this blue line pull back a second leg up. And so I thought there was enough momentum, so I entered at the highs of this candle. So you see the blue tick here, flashes down. My stop was actually one tick below this green bar. So right here, I thought I was going to be stopped out. It fools me again because it opens here. I think it actually came down, if it just moved down one more tick, I probably would have had a losing trade. But I kept it right here, didn't move my stop, flashed up, gave me the 1 point scalp. And it continued going. So this would have been good enough for a 2 point scalp, but I'm just going for one. This price action is also very tight today. Prices then continue moving. The first entry long, pull back. You don't get a second entry long till way down here. You could make an argument for a triple test, but I don't like that this signal bar is a doji, so I left it alone. Prices then, so I first thought it was coming down this orange channel, breaks, makes a new low, continues downwards. So I looked for a bigger channel, which was this red one. It seemed to fit pretty well. Then it breaks out, consolidates. This is just piano keys right here, just side by side, black, well, not black, but green, red, all relatively the same size, relatively the same range, and same body size. So I don't want to deal with that. Prices then move down. You have a new high, first entry long. Pull back, you technically have a second entry long. I was thinking of going long here because I thought there was a triple test, but you don't have a confirmed second entry long yet. So although I was thinking of taking a trade, I had to wait to see what happens. Opens actually at the same level, flies up, comes back down, and actually closes here. So now I'm just thinking, okay, I'm in a trading range. Don't go long, don't go short. Wait for this price action to clear up. It breaks down and it continues up. You have first entry short, new low, first entry short, second entry short, second entry short failure, but nothing here would have told me to get a trade ready. Prices then continue moving up on this yellow up channel. But here, it's clearly within a range. It looked like it's failing to make the lows. So I don't think necessarily prices are going to come back down here yet. I'm thinking this yellow up channel is going to break and test its high, potentially coming up to maybe this level or the pre-market high. That's what I'm expecting prices to do. And I've just got to wait and see if a setup forms. We're going to go ahead and zoom back in. We have first entry long, pull back. Technically have a second entry long. There's nothing here though. This gets choppy, kind of moves down on this yellow down channel, excuse me, this orange down channel, reverses and starts going up on this yellow up channel. I have a new low here, first entry short, pullback. I see a second entry short, but I also see a new high, first entry long, pullback. It breaks below this candle and pushes back up. So I see two key entry points here. I see a new low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short. Technically, a second entry short hasn't failed yet, but I also see a new high, first entry long, second entry long. I suspect this next candle is going to create a bar here, bouncing off the EMA. Is going to confirm the failure of the second entry short. So I thought this was a possible trade. It's also a decent signal bar. I didn't take it though. The only thing that was giving me a little bit reservation is there's enough room for a 1 point scalp to this localized high, definitely to this high, but I wasn't sure if this would act as a resistance. So I wasn't feeling too particularly aggressive, but it would have worked. Price then continued chopping, moves up. I think this yellow up channel is played out. Also saw it as two legs. Pull back another two legs down. Then it starts flowing, pricing back up on this next yellow up channel. And there's no real clean second entries here. I did see a potential measured move or two legs up, one leg up. Let's see. Didn't mean to do that. One leg up, pull back. It looked like it's one leg, two legs, and then one leg up, second leg potentially coming up. I'm expecting a kind of a measured move up here, but I don't know if it's going to be stopped by the pre-market highs yet. I'm just watching. On top of that, there's no real clean second entry setups yet. With all these first entries, the first entry, second entry long here. Unfortunately, this isn't a very good signal bar. It is a green bar, but it closed too low on this body, on its total range. I needed to close higher up, maybe up here. Then I would have thought first entry long, get us trade ready, second entry long. Unfortunately, it didn't quite form that way, so I had to stay out of it. Pushes up, and it made the measure move. Now I'm thinking, could on a larger time frame, this could be seen as a failed breakout, and prices might come moving back down because it did make two legs up, hit a localized high. Potentially, I'm thinking of potential reversal, but I need to see a setup confirm it. One thing I already like is it broke below the EMA, so that's a good sign. Your first entry long, pull back. And unfortunately from here, the first entry long, you don't get a second entry long. It just kind of keeps going down. And then you do get a second entry long here, but now it just feels too far away. So to enter the second entry long, you'd have to sit through this. It did tick one tick below and flash back up. There's enough room to the EMA. This could be a potential break of this this orange down channel, but it's not quite confirmed. It has good confirmation at the top, but not so much at the bottom. So this might have been a trade, but I just didn't quite like it. Looked like it would have worked though. You also have a new low, first entry short, second entry short, but this isn't a good indicator. You would not have known to take a short or get a short ready. Then when you see this close, it feels a little sketchy because it feels like a big move down. It needed to get a rejection off the EMA for me to even consider. It looks like if you had it one tick below, you'd be safe because when you see this big reversal, likely you would not have entered. You would just cancel the trade. Pushes back up, hits this consolidation area again. Not again, but this new consolidation range. This is just tight trading. It's a new low, first entry short. Technically gave a second entry short here. I did have this downtrend drawn, but it was actually slightly off. So I adjusted it after I saw this because I think it was a little bit higher, a little more shallow. But then you don't know to take a short because this isn't a good signal bar. Plus it's above the EMA. It is biased to the downside, but I was thinking I'm in a potential range and I would be kind of selling at the low of this range because I definitely wouldn't have traded or taken an entry after this candle. And then after seeing this one, then I think, okay, maybe it's coming back down, but now I'm too close to the lows. Bounces, and then this is actually where I see another potential setup. I see a new high, first entry long, pull back, second entry long. Second entry long has failed on this candle. This candle creates the failure. You also have a new low, first entry short, pull back, second entry short. This second entry short, plus the failed second entry long, plus it's being rejected by the EMA on a bearish bias. I think there was a trade here. Now, I wasn't fast enough, but I needed to see the next candle that's not printed yet, or we don't know, we don't really know what's going to happen in real time. I need to see a break below this double bottom to feel confident, because from this double bottom, the next potential support you have to wait for is down here. And that's only 1 point. So if you're going for 1 point and you're looking for a 4 tick 1 point scalp, I want to see this break, and then I'd put my entry 1 tick below this guy. So here it opens technically at the same lows. So I wasn't fast enough. I watched this, I dropped in my trade, and then it just went without me. And by the time it moves that 1 point I was looking for, clearly below this next support that I was worried about, then the trade has already been made. You don't want to keep your trade out here because you don't want potential reversal. You don't want this whole thing to come back up, pick you up, and then you think, then you're going to ask for it to move right back down. It could pick you up and then continue back upwards and maybe test this green down channel again. So this is kind of like a missed trade. It was, I thought, a decent setup, but I was a little slow, maybe a little too conservative. Instead of putting it at the lows here, because then, as you can see, it never broke above, so you may not have gotten filled. I don't know if I would have gotten filled because I was just too late in general. It opened and it just started moving down. So I dropped in my trade hoping it'd come back and never came back. So if I did keep it 1 tick below this guy, then I would have probably gotten filled, after seeing the break below here. But I was a little too conservative, missed a trade. Looked like it would have been a fantastic trade though, especially if you had a runner. Prices then continue down. You have a new low, first entry short, pull back, second entry short. This isn't a good signal bar to go short on. But then you're looking for a lower high. This is a lower high, but it isn't a good lower high. It's too bullish. And by the time this forms, I feel like I'm too late. I don't want to jump in down here. In other words, I needed this one to be red and this one to be red. But unfortunately, this setup didn't give it to me. I just had to sit it out. Then prices continue moving down. It's a little choppy. EMA is holding prices down. Breaks out of this green down channel and then goes down on this yellow down channel. It starts reversing back up. But as you can see, it's the last 10 minutes, so there's no enthusiasm to try to get a trade here because I don't want to be stuck or trying to deal with a very volatile situation in the last 10 minutes to try to squeeze out a trade, especially when I was lucky enough to get one trade already on a arguably pretty slow day. So there wasn't any ballpark, knock it out of the ballpark type of trade that I could see today. Because if you just kind of did a Hail Mary, we're able to sell up here and just hold it all the way down here, but you don't know that this is going to happen. So that's kind of how I saw the charts today. Hopefully that was helpful.